Calla Fountain Crossing, N Gauge. Exhibited by Bill Garden and the Perth Model Railway Group. The layout portrays a fictitious mountain and valley scene in North America, where long trains can meander their way through tunnels and over bridges. In North America, numerous duplicate lines were built by separate railroad companies, and the layout displays this. The ground-level track, once a single line, was upgraded to double track to improve the transportation of passengers and freight during the early 20th century. The doubling of the line necessitated some new bridges and the cutting of additional tunnels. The upper track is from a rival railroad company which had to take a higher-level route due to the space limitations between the mountains and river. The shelter on the upper track was built to divert the constant fall of loose rock from blocking the line. The rolling stock is varied according to group members' collections, allowing trains from the 1940s to the turn of the 21st century to be run, so both American and Canadian trains may be seen. In North America, freight trains can be well in excess of a mile in length, but even in N gauge there is a limit to how long a train can be, given the constraints of layout size. Track is Pico code 80. Train control can be either analog or digital, so all three tracks can be set accordingly depending on the availability of suitable locomotives on show days. Point control on the fiddle yard is via servos operated by a merged servo 4 circuit board, controlled by custom-made control panels. Crianlarich, in N gauge. Exhibited by Renfrewshire Model Railway Club. A depiction of the station and surrounding area in the village of Crianlarich. An important stop on the West Highland Railway, the line divides here, with one branch heading due west towards Oban, and the other continuing north over Rannoch Moor to Fort William. The layout is over 35 years old, and took part in the centenary celebrations of the line in 1994. It is set in the early 80s and features a variety of stock that could be found on the line at this time. Mauchline Station and Ballochmar Viaduct in N gauge. Exhibited by Kyle Model Railway Club. Mauchline Station is a model of the real station on the G and SWR line, just south of Kilmarnock. The station was very busy, being on the main Carlisle to Glasgow route, which also divided to Ayr. The station closed in 1966, but trains still pass through today, including some freight from the branch line to Ayr. Trains still pass over the River Aire, on the famous Ballochmyle Viaduct, which was built from local sandstone. This layout depicts the late steam to early BR blue with a little bit of modern image thrown in. Westertoun, in Engage. Exhibited by Stirling and Clackmannan District Model Railway Club. Westertoun is situated in the Hillfoots area of Clackmannanshire, adjacent to the parish of Harveston. The principal source of employment lies in the remnants of the once thriving and extensive textile, engineering, and mining industries. Such businesses are, however, rapidly disappearing as time marches on, through the later decades of the mid-20th century. There is, however, sufficient trade to merit retention of the rail network. In the railway transition era of the late 1960s, as depicted on this model, the separate freight and passenger lines still operate on the infrastructure completed in Victorian times. These two routes intersect next to the local station and the remaining industrial facilities. Such an arrangement provides resilience, flexibility and interchange between the two single-line cross-country routes. A diverse range of traffic produces an equally wide range of motive power and rolling stock, as can be seen running on this layout, and which in themselves are largely representative of actual prototypes as may have operated in this area at this time. Canal Way, in Engage. Exhibited by Falkirk Model Railway Club. Canal Way has an interesting scenic approach to it, with of course the theme being a canal, which makes this layout an ideal talking point at any exhibition. The layout timeline is based on the late 1950s, early 1960s, with stock to complement that era. A combination of Metcalfe card buildings and ratio plastic kits were used to fulfill the ideas and creation of this layout. The track is by Pico, using smart point motors for reliable operation, and the layout is DC controlled. The size advantage of this layout, as being originally for home use only, is 5 feet by 30 inches, with an operating space at rear of 2 feet plus room needed for a table for stock requirements. It is hoped that this layout will encourage the prospective railway modeler to take note of what can be achieved with a small and interesting layout, modelled in Engage. Roxby Town, in Engage. Exhibited by Jeff Butler. The freelance design of the track plan has made the most of its 12 feet by 3 feet footprint, helped in part by its split-level design, which sees a main-line circuit run around the top, with a large diesel depot on the lower level, linked by a single-track gradient. Space for scenery is a little restricted as the track plan takes full advantage of the baseboards, to include loops, sidings, platforms, headshunts, the depot, and more. However, the greenery around the layout has been modelled with autumn colours, for a different feel to the usual spring and summer setting of my other layouts. Entering the scenic area from the left-hand side, the main line splits from 2 to 4 tracks, with the outer tracks becoming loops through the station, for freight trains to be passed. There is also a junction between the upper level and the gradient to the lower level, which allows locomotives, multiple units, and fuel deliveries to enter or leave the depot. The main line now swings all the way through the scenic area, on a curve. At the rear are low-relief warehouses and a disused power station, based around the Graham Farish Seamcraft buildings. The chimney has been reduced in height, to make it fit the transport requirements for exhibitions. As the final phase of the main line section, the tracks fan out to enter Roxby Town station, which is part relief, as its platforms dive below the town scene above. The lower level, Green Lane, Traction Maintenance Depot, TMD, is the central focus of the lower level, and is based around 6 of the classic, Pico diesel depot buildings. These easy-to-assemble plastic kits can be joined together to create a larger structure, with this particular depot featuring 4 tracks, 2 with 4 depot buildings joined together, and 2 with a pair of buildings joined together. The longest covered road can house a full 4-car Voyager DEMU undercover, or a pair of 2-car DMUs. In addition to the main buildings, there is a fueling point and wash plant, both from the Scenecraft range, while further buildings include a messroom, portable offices, and a disused signal box. Eli Wood, in Engage. Exhibited by Eric Ferruga. Eli Wood is a modern image N-gauge model depicting an electrified main line, a branch line, and turnback siding, and is for watching trains. The model is based on an imaginary location, somewhere in England. The scenery is scratch-built, and incorporates a working road system. The trackwork on the scenic section of the model is made from a fine-scale track system, which uses Code 40 rail. The fiddle yard, at the rear of the model, uses Pico code track, and is used to store the trains whilst awaiting their next turn of duty. The rolling stock is a mixture of ready-to-run and kit-built items, arranged into trains that may have been seen in the period 2000 to the present day. Scarlington, in N-gauge. Exhibited by the North of England Line Group of railway modelers. Scarlington, or North of England Line 2, as it is also known, was built as a club layout, but is now privately owned by the group of friends who built it after leaving our local club. It is the successor to Scarworth Junction, North of England Line 1, which is also now owned privately by one of our group. It is set in the 1970-1980s and has a flavour of various northeastern landmarks. The 2 main bridges are similar to 2 of the bridges in Newcastle. The station roof was inspired by Darlington, and various buildings, for example the Woolworths and the Odeon Cinema, and the cliff lift are based on buildings in our hometown of Scarborough. The stock we run on the layout is firmly set in the BR, Blue Diesel era, with an occasional steam special. There are various cameo scenes to keep the viewer occupied. There is also a game to play, which is listed on our 2 notice boards, where visitors can look for various items. Northallerton, in N-gauge. Exhibited by Cleveland Model Railway Club. Northallerton, in North Yorkshire, is an N-gauge, 1:148, representative layout of the post-2000s privatised network, set in Orton. Constructed by members of the Cleveland Model Railway Club, the layout is DCC controlled by an ESU command station, utilising iPhones and iPads for handheld wireless operation. Northallerton has always been a major junction on the East Coast Main Line, and it remains so to this day. Although the track arrangement has gone through various incarnations, we have attempted to represent the track as it is today. Many local features can be identified on the layout, including some of the railway buildings. Stock is mainly Farish and Dapol, although there are some offerings from CJM, and the odd 3D printed model. Of note is the autumnal railhead treatment train, hauled by a pair of Class 37s. Class 66s and Class 60s can be seen hauling steel, coal and containers amongst other freight. Passenger stock includes Class 91s, HSTs and Voyagers.